Hello, it is Eric Hecker again, back at you. Hope everyone's doing well and having a great week wherever you are in this fine country or world of ours. Um, if you're like me, the weather is trying to make up its mind right now. Last week we had 70s, this week we have 50s, so who knows? But, I kind of decided a while ago that I wanted to do some more videos in addition to the blog, which I've been lazy on, I realize, and just need to get my butt in gear. Um, it'll come, I promise. But I feel like it's important to do these things too. Gives you an opportunity to get to know me, and hopefully can give me an opportunity to get to know you. So last week I talked about making a connection with your collection, and basically it was, along the lines of when you collect things, that you should collect, and it really came to light today. Actually, I saw some posts on Twitter about National Treasures boxes. I think they were, or Flawless. I can't remember which one it was, and look, I can't afford those on a good day, let alone how the hobby market is right now, which makes me very grateful for what I do collect and how I collect, because I don't have to worry about trying to buy those things and whatnot. And while I do enjoy those cards, I own some in my collection. I own what I want. And this kind of goes back to, again, my childhood and the story of who I am as a person. I collected in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s and got out of it a couple of times here and there, and now I'm back into it. But when I collected in the 80s and 90s, I mean, I was your typical junk wax kid. I'd get everything, put it in binders, put them in sleeves, collect who I wanted to collect, and that was it. But part of the reason I collected was because of my parents, but part of the reason I collected baseball is because I played baseball myself. I was a pitcher. I started at a young age playing in Ohio, where I was from. It's called Bantam League Baseball, or it's also known as Coach Pitch, at age 6 and 7. And then at the age of 8, got into Little League. And I don't know why I became a pitcher. I know my father was a pitcher, so I'm sure that had something to do with it. But I developed a skill for pitching. And I'm not embarrassed or shy to say that I was relatively good. I made multiple all-star teams as a little leaguer. I had opportunities to travel, playing baseball. Um, Played a little bit in high school, and when I was playing in high school, was being scouted by multiple colleges, and had major league teams come into my games, and it wasn't fun for me anymore. So I actually stopped playing baseball. I hate using the word quit, even though that's what I did. But I stopped playing the game of baseball because it wasn't fun for me. I never anticipated uh, baseball taking me anywhere. I just truly had a passion for the game, and you know wanted nothing more than to just have fun. And one of my most memorable memories was in 1994 when I was 12 years old. So let me just give you a little backstory. Big Cleveland Indians fan, still under this day. Hard to believe they're in first place right now, but we're 9 games into the season, so we'll see if that lasts. But anyway, again, grew up in the 80s and 90s, right? I had some of the worst Indians teams ever growing up with. I mean, you could go to Cleveland Municipal Stadium and buy the cheapest ticket and get the best seats in the house because nobody was there. I mean, 75,000, cavernous concrete block sitting on the lake. When in June you could have the winds blowing just right and you have to be in a hoodie like I am now. But I still went to the games. I still watched them play, and there were two players that I absolutely fell in love with, and it was only natural as a pitcher. The first one was Charles Nagy, who name may or may not mean something to anybody that's watching this or listening to this, but Charles Nagy to me was the best pitcher that I had ever seen. And I mean, think back to who was pitching back then, right? But he's who I looked up to. He's who I wanted to model my game after. He was just a professional. He made a couple of all-star teams. Was never a league leader in anything, but he led the Indians, and that's what I enjoyed through thick and thin. And the other player I fell in love with was Sandy Alomar Jr. and his, obviously the catcher. Might be best known for hitting the winning home run in the '97 All-Star game, but that's not what I know him for. So, I watched all these teams, and then in 1994, Jacobs Field opened up, and I remember distinctly telling people, like, this is it, like a new stadium, it's a new birth of a team. They're going to come out like gangbusters and be the team to beat. And, before the strike in '94, they were, and then, of course, '95, they went on to lose to the Braves in the World Series, in '97 to the Marlins. But in 1994, we had a family friend who was a senior in high school. He was a 6'10 left-handed pitcher that threw 95 miles per hour. Probably can guess who he was compared to in the majors. But he wasn't getting a lot of consideration to play professionally. A ton of college recruits ended up going to Kent State University. But the Indians invited him to come try out for them. And this was in March, like right before opening day. And because it was a brand new stadium and they wanted to show it off, they allowed him to invite friends and family. And my family and I, we were fortunate enough to be invited to come watch him try out. And as a 12-year-old who was just in love with baseball, I was just in awe of going to this brand new stadium that nobody's played in yet and that nobody's watched a game. And I'm sitting here just thinking, my gosh, am I making history right now? But this family friend of ours, like, I was good friends with him. I loved watching him pitch. He was teaching me, how to throw sliders and curveballs, and he improved my fastball, and just somebody that I really looked up to. So I was so glad that I could go and watch him, try out for my favorite team, the Indians. And so we're sitting there in the stands, we're watching him. He's coming over every now and then talking with us. And at one point he came over and he just kind of did this motion to me, and I walked down, to the fence, and he's like, why don't you come out on the field with me? And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my, this is crazy. 12 years old again, going out on the field of a major league stadium. How cool is this? And, we started playing catch and whatnot. And, one of the coaches, I couldn't remember who it was, but one of the coaches said, what position do you play? And I said, I'm a pitcher. He goes, why don't you get up there on the mound and, show us what you got? It's kind of joking around. So I did. I got up there on the mound. I started throwing. And out of the corner of my eye, I see some movement in the dugout. And all of a sudden, I see, this larger-than-life figure just come out. It's Sandy Alomar Jr., okay? Sandy Alomar Jr., like, my idol as a catcher. Now, these guys weren't my favorite players. Kenny Lofton's my all-time favorite player. If he would have walked out of the dugout, I may have fainted. But Sandy Alomar Jr. comes walking out of the dugout, and he crouches behind home plate. He doesn't say a word. He just crouches behind home plate, and I knew immediately what to do. I got up on the rubber, and I threw a fastball right down the middle of the plate. And he banged his glove, and I kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it. And then I started throwing some curveballs, mixing them in there. Again, 12 years old, okay, throwing curveballs. My father always told me, don't throw curveballs at a young age. It'll screw up your elbow. Do we listen to our fathers? Not at all. Okay? So I'm throwing curveballs, throwing fastballs. I'm mixing some sliders, changeups, and whatnot. And then all of a sudden I see movement again. And here it comes. Charles Nagy, my idol as a pitcher, comes walking out to the mound and just tells me, show me what you got. So I throw a fastball. Next pitch was a curveball. And he stops me. He says, "How old are you?" So I'm 12. "I don't ever want to see you throw a curveball again until you're 15." And by God, I never threw another curveball a day in my life because my idol, Charles Nagy, told me not to. And I forever kept that in my memory. I mean, it's something that I will never forget. And as the years went on, I watched these two play, and then they retired, and now they're both in coaching right now, and hopefully Sandy will get a managerial job at some point. But it's a memory that will never leave me, and I never really thought about collecting either one of them. Just wasn't in my purview. But I like autographed baseballs, and I like the '95 Indians, and for obvious reasons, and those '90s teams. And at one point, I thought, God, it'd be really great to own the starting nine from either the '95 or the '97 team. Most likely the '95 team because Lofton wasn't on the '97 team. Um, and I started with Sandy Alomar Jr. You know, and I got that, and I don't know. I think I don't know why I stopped. I mean, there's some that you can't find, like Albert Bell. It's expensive. Carlos Baerga is expensive, and then you got others who, Paul Sorrento, and those guys are like very few and far between. But I have that ball, and then recently, I don't know what it was, but I started thinking about this memory, and I thought, gosh, it'd be really great to own, a Charles Nagy autograph ball or a card or something. And I came across a few, and I bought a couple off eBay, which I thought they were just nice. This is from I don't know, Topps Archive something. I don't know what year it is. 2018. But it's got that '92 look to it. It's just a nice clean auto, and it's my guy. And then I saw this one. I couldn't pass this one up. You know, this is the '88 Topps. Nagy pitched for the U.S. team, and it's a good clean auto. It's of '99, and I think I just noticed this. It's numbered 43 of '99. I'm pretty sure that was his uniform number. Do a quick Google search here of Charles Nagy. That'd be kind of cool. I didn't even notice that till just now, if that's the case. But no, 41. 41. I knew it was 40 something. 41. But anyway, so I'm thrilled to own these pieces, the Alomar ball and the Nagy cards, and it just, again, it connects to my message last week of collecting excuse me, make a connection with who you collect or what you collect. And this is a childhood memory. I hope my son one day has something like this too that he can remember. But it's just so gratifying to know that I'm able to do these things and be able to make a collection around this, around memories that I care about, and around stories that I can tell. Because when my son looks at this Alomar ball and says, "Daddy, why do you own that ball?" Well, guess what? I can tell him this story and tell him that's why I own this ball. Um, and again, just leaving that message to you all. Just make that connection and go out there and buy what you want, because those are what's going to be more meaningful to you at the end of the day than trying to flip something that could take a while. So appreciate you guys. Love what you do. Looking forward to connecting with you. Connect with me. Find me on Twitter at ESHecker. This is on my YouTube channel, so if you want to like it, subscribe to it. I don't really care. Do what you want to do. But love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.